Introduction of Chesterfield's Letters to his Son. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Letters to his Son on the Art of Becoming a Man of the World and a Gentleman by Philip Stanhope, 4th Earl of Chesterfield. Introduction. From the Project Gutenberg Editor's Notes. OS and NS. On consultation with several specialists, I have learned that the abbreviations OS and NS relate to the difference between the old Julian calendar used in England and the Gregorian calendar which was the standard in Europe. In the mid-18th century it is said that this once amounted to a difference of 11 days. To keep track of the chronology of letters back and forth from England to France or other countries in mainland Europe, Chesterfield inserted in dates the designation OS, Old Style, and NS, New Style. D.W. Special Introduction. The proud Lord Chesterfield would have turned in his grave had he known that he was to go down to posterity as a teacher and preacher of the gospel not of grace, but the graces, the graces, the graces. Natural gifts, social status, open opportunities, and his ambition all conspired to destine him for high statesmanship. If anything was lacking in his qualifications, he had the pluck and good sense to work hard and persistently until the deficiency was made up. Something remained lacking, and not all his consummate mastery of arts could conceal that conspicuous want, the want of heart. Teacher and preacher he assuredly is, and long will be, yet no thanks are due from a posterity of the common people, whom he so sublimely despised. His pious mission was not to raise the level of the multitude, but to lift a single individual upon a pedestal so high that his lowly origin should not betray itself. That individual was his, Lord Chesterfield's, illegitimate son, whose inferior blood should be given the true blue hue by concentrating upon him all the externals of aristocratic education. Never had pupil so devoted, persistent, lavish and brilliant a guide, philosopher, and friend, for the parental relation was shrewdly merged in these. Never were devotion and uphill struggle against doubts of success more bitterly repaid. Philip Stanhope was born in 1732, when his father was 38. He readily absorbed enough the solids of the ideal education supplied him, but by perversity of fate he cared not a fig for the graces, the graces, the graces, which his father so wisely deemed by far the superior qualities to be cultivated by the budding courtier and statesman. A few years of minor services to his country were rendered, though Chesterfield was breaking his substitute for a heart, because his son could not or would not play the superfine gentleman, on the paternal model, and then came the news of his death, when only 36. What was a still greater shock to the lordly father, now deaf, gouty, fretful, and at outs with the world, his informant reported that she had been secretly married for several years to young Hopeful, and was left penniless with 2 boys. Lord Chesterfield was above all things a practical philosopher, as hard and as exquisitely rounded and polished as a granite column. He accepted the vanishing of his lifelong dream with the admirable stolidity of a fatalist, and in those last days of his radically artificial life he disclosed a welcome tenderness, a touch of the divine, none the less so for being common duty, shown in the few brief letters to his son's widow, and to our boys. This, and his enviable gift of being able to view the downs as well as the ups of life in the consoling humorous light, must modify the sterner judgment so easily passed upon his characteristic inculcation, if not practice, of heartlessness. The 13th century Mother Church in the town from which Lord Chesterfield's title came has a peculiar steeple, graceful in its lines, but it points askew, from whatever corner it is seen. The writer of these letters, which he never dreamed would be published, is the best self-portrayed gentleman in literature. In everything he was naturally a stylist, perfected by assiduous art, yet the graceful steeple somehow warped out of the beauty of the perpendicular. His ideal gentleman is the frigid product of a rigid mechanical drill, with the mien of a posture master, the skin-deep graciousness of a French Marechal, the calculating
Sample complete. Ready to continue?